Hello and welcome to Manuel Goes Racing, hopefully. Alright, today we're in Automobilista 2, having a look at the rather large 1.2 update that's just come through, and hopefully fourth time's a fucking charm, as they say when it comes to making a pissing video, because frankly this is not going well. Right, let's have a look at the changelog and then we'll sort of go over various things, but whilst we're doing the changelog I will just run a bit of a, hopefully this won't take 3 fucking hours this time. For some reason it took bloody ages last time. A replay of some of the new content. Here's one I recorded earlier. This was me on my other machine, which I'd already tried twice to record this on, and then I just got so interrupted with just doing it again here that I gave up and started again. You know, sometimes you just, oh fuck it, why are you doing that? Piss thing. Right, all off. Right, whilst that's playing I will talk, hopefully. Right, changelog. Content. Tracks. Out of the Daytona International Speedway, part of the Racing USA Part 1 DLC. Added Long Beach, again part of, this is Long Beach. Added WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, part of again. Cars, added the GTE class, of which you can see 3 cars here. The M8, the Corvette C8R and the Porsche 911 RSR, that's the one that keeps screaming at you. Added the DPI class featuring the Cadillac DPI VR, again part of the same pack. There's some of them at the front of the field, and at the end of this you will actually get to see them overtake me because I'm in a slower car. And last but not least, added the M4 BMW to the GT4 class. That isn't DLC, that's just another car in the GT4 class. General. Added custom championship feature to championship mode. We will have a look at that in a little while because there were a couple of issues with it that need a bit of explaining what they are and how to get around them. Assuming they haven't fixed them with a little patch that came out a little while ago, and going to make me look a bit of a prat, but there you go, wouldn't be the first time. Added option for real weather, synchronising the weather conditions to the current and forecast conditions on the location of the track. Added option to customise date for the event. Currently all sessions run under the same day. Added 42 years of historical weather data, currently only for tracks listed in the notes above. Added seasonal foliage, currently only for the tracks noted in the changelog. Weather progression is now scaled by time progression setting when using the real weather option. For effect of adjusting forecasts whilst running real weather, qualifying sessions are now configured to 1 day before the race day and practice 2 days before. So now all your club meets will take 3 days instead of 1. Implemented, that's me pulling some of this chain. Implemented dynamic live track presets for real historic weather in single player. Track may start with some level of water or puddles based on the real weather data of the preceding hours before the session start time. Added option to configure live track presets for each session. Temporarily disabled real weather setting in multiplayer and temporarily disabled live track preset setting in multiplayer. Hopefully they should come back. Would be nice. Time races now end after time plus 1 lap. This was a time race and that actually confused me because I forgot about it. So I thought we should be finishing. Oh, we haven't finished. But there you go. DLC tracks are now accessible to non-owners in multiplayer sessions. So if you set up a race at this circuit and the people you wanted to join you hadn't got the Racing DLC, Racing USA DLC, and you were using a non-DLC car, they'd be able to join. If on the other hand you use the DLC car and the DLC track, they can't. So it will encourage a greater selection of tracks to be used, not necessarily a great selection of cars. So if you're quite happy with the base vehicles but want to race them on some of the DLC tracks, you'll be able to get more people joining you doing that. Adjusted live track grip range, slightly lower base grip than before on a green track. Added controller preset strings for new devices, a Logitech G923, Thrustmaster TGT and the Magic M10. Modified Logitech G923 profiles to correctly distinguish between two variants, the Xbox and PS4, and increase the torque by 20%. Feel the power! Initial revision of shadow casting variables, generally increasing shadow quality. I'll mention that again later. Inverted traction control logic. Higher values now produce more traction control rather than more allowed slip as per the old configuration. So now if you want more TC, turn it up, not down. Adjusted gamepad controller presets and car specific parameters for improved drivability in all cars. I don't know whether that caused a reset of the controller settings, because when I was doing this earlier, although I had deleted some other bits and pieces, so it might have just been me being silly, it had reset everything and I was using auto gears, which confused the crap out of me, which is why I had such a crap start. Added more loading screen tips. Sorry, we're on UI and HUD now. Fixed slider mouse inputs for steering sensitivity, speed sensitivity and minimum shift time. Controller settings. Fixed incorrect visibility test on auto advanced timer of session results screen. Suspension rates in setup screen are now displayed as incremental units rather than the actual rates. So rather than saying how many newton meters it is, it just says 1, 2, 3. So that's one of those, ouch. One of those things where some people really like to see the real numbers, and it doesn't actually matter one way or another. If you just know that you need to add it or subtract it depending upon what the car's doing, it doesn't matter what the real number is. They are thinking about having it so it's optional to show the real numbers or just the increments, because some people, it doesn't matter what you do, somebody will complain. So physics and FFB, revised tyre, tread, centre of gravity, height and drag coefficient parameters for all cars. You will find that the changes to the centre of gravity seem to have made a very large difference to the way the cars handle, as in they are better now than they have been at any point. There will probably be even more changes that make them even better in the future, but I think that's a really, really positive step. So you'll find that the cars definitely feel better. Unified all GT tyre dimensions, rules and branding as per real regulations of the main North American and European series. Michelin's for GTE, Pirelli for GT3, GT4. GT3, GT4 balance of performance revisions, reduced air scale drafting effect. Formula Racing, slightly adjusted diffuser centre of pressure. Porsche GT3 Cup, corrected minimum weight for both models. Super V8 added kingpin multiplier to reduce pendulum effect in FFB. Adjusted FFB max force range for BMW M6 Camaro GT4R. Adjusted BMW M6 engine torque curve. Sprint race minor brake torque adjustment. Corrected default steering lock and steering ratio for Porsche GT3R. Further bodywork drag coefficient revisions. Adjusted default TC and ABS settings, including proper baseline for cars without factory TC. Corrected traction control range for GT4 cars. Adjusted aero yaw sensitivity for all GTs, Proto stock cars and touring cars. Added engine brake setting for formulas from 1980s on, GT and prototype classes. Adjusted engine compression curves for Formula Retros and McLaren 570S, Porsches and F3s. Adjusted default packers for Formula Retros, P1 and Rocco. Adjusted stock car Montana, Ginetta G40 sprint race torque in lower rev band to correct engine bogging down on launch. Yeah, some of them are a right pain to get off the line. Mercedes CLK LM disabled downshift auto blip. Removed hard and intermediate tyre compound from GT3 P1 options. Disabled the viscous LSD settings in various cars that incorrectly allowed for it. Metal Moro AJR fixed Honda engine bug. Set new traction control and ABS ranges, increments of 0 to 10 instead of 1 to 99. Adjusted intermediate tyre compound performance. Disabled redundant weight distribution setup ranges in cars that shouldn't have them. Added hard compound option back for the stock car 2019. Minor centre of gravity adjustments for the Porsche Cup Formula Retro cars. I presume that was after they did the sort of universal changes. GT3, GT4 Bop Pass, fixed missing TC and ABS on the GT4 Ginetta G55. Adjusted engine output in the AJR Chevy. Moved to default brake bias slightly forward for most cars. Adjusted Camaro GT4 default camber and differential. Adjusted BMW M6, M8 and Mercedes GT3 damper rates and ranges. AI, extensive AI calibration pass for dry and wet performance, straight line speed. Extended pool of AI personalities. All drivers in grid should have unique personalities now. Several adjustments to AI overtaking assessment parameters. Reduced range of possible AI deviation from ideal line. Increased AI wall check function. Perhaps that's why I've been wall checked a couple of times. Added custom wall buffer values to Montreal, Speedland, Azure, Adelaide, IIyama 72 and Bathurst. AI tyre wear calibration pass for stock car, GT3, GTE, P1 classes. Adjusted AI grip at Goinia and Cavello. Added custom AI pit exit speed scalers. Adjusted AI relative performance in practice and qualifying sessions. Increased AI care with human and lower AI brake grip for non-Formula cars. Adjusted AI brake power, side tolerance, avoid ratio, extra care with player. I've been checked again. Added function to prevent AI from pitting in the last 2 laps of a race unless they have a mandatory stop to complete or will run out of fuel. Taruma, adjusted AI speed through T1, T2. I've lost it, get it back, come on. Audio. Adding new tyre surface sound model for skid scrub dynamics. This you'll find will help a lot. The difference between the scrub and the skidding noise. So when you're scrubbing, you'll hear the scrubbing noises, and they should get louder as you get closer to the sort of limit. But when you start locking a tyre up or spinning it or whatever, you should get a sort of more high-pitched screech of tyre skid noise, and it will help a lot when it comes to things like modulating your brakes in a car without ABS. So when you're on the limit, you can hear the tyre chirping as it grip, ungrip, grip, slip, as it sort of chirps as it happily sings to you to go, I'm on my limit here. So you'll be able to actually modulate the brakes better and things like that, because you're actually hearing what the tyres are telling you they're doing. So works really well, it's really nice, and they've adjusted the volumes a bit, so they're a bit more sensible now. They were at one time a little bit on the loud side. Added traction control and RPM limiter, sound logic and smoothing. Adjusted volume for various sound effects, rain, wipers, wet road roll. I'll try and say that correctly. Optimised sound positioning calculation in relation to listener. Lowered brake squeal volume. Added turboprop and jet airplane flyover sounds. What was that? It was an aeroplane. I didn't realise it got any noise much off them actually, but there you go. Tracks. That's probably because they're so immersive you don't actually notice it. That's always a good point, isn't it? If you haven't noticed something, is it that immersive that you haven't noticed it? That's a weird one. Back to the ball. Stop the bullshit, get on with it. Right, yeah, okay. Tracks, overcast, rain, storm, climates, overhaul. Slightly optimised overcast weather, reduced brightness and sunlight when overcast, revised fog values for overcast, rain, storm, revised rain, storm, clouds, removed inversion of lighting during thunderstrikes in the thunderstorm weather, removed random sky glow at night, few tweaks to clear weather HDR behaviour, better blend of cars undershadow with environment in overcast, rain, storm, thunderstorm, fog, heavy fog weather. Add invisible light beams from cars to the daytime for overcast and rainy weather presets. That was all one item. Oh, I've hit the wall again. Added seasonal foliage to Bathurst, Brasilia, Campo Grande, Cascavel, Curitiba, Cavello, Jerez, Spielberg, Historic. Fixed issues with planes, helicopters, boats and trains being cold when they shouldn't. Trains, helicopters and drones now only load on race weekend from qualifying onwards. Londrina car, add a missing pit man animations. I'll spit that word out eventually. Cascavel, reworked fences, fixed UV1 mismatch on grass, outer grass. Bathurst 2020 revised track cut mesh, performance pass, LOD object pop fixes, clean up all from mesh and texture, interlay Goss historic, remove catch finch collisions, Nürburgring fixed a hole in the terrain at the GP pit entrance, Spa-Francorchamps 2020 various LOD pop and Z-Fight fixes, Alton Park added missing EMAP setting to some render road, enabled 2D crowd hide from session feature, improved start light glows, LOD object pop fixes, max and static objects, performance pass 23% less draw calls, CSM pass curves road issues. Added trackside VR cams to Ibarra, Santa Cruz, Taruma and Vela Park, Interlagos, minor art and optimisation pass, added seasonal foliage and optimised night lights worn curbs, fence optimisation and lodding, seasonal texture tweaks, optimisation of night lights. Spielberg historic, fixed bug with seasonal foliage, Imola all versions, performance pass, bug fixes, delete all from mesh, updated stock car trackside advertising for tracks on the 2021 calendar. Vehicles. I need a mouthful of coffee at this point. Oh, lovely. Vehicles. Formula Retro V8 and V12 added drive animations, adjusted the position of the cockpit gear shifter. Stock car 2021, car paint material updated, livery updates, reduced headlight dip angle to improve lighting reach, added outfits for 60s, 70s, 80s drivers, Porsche GT3R texture optimization, Ginetta G55 GT4, fixed display and RPM lights, fixed bugs in dirt build-up parameters, causing dirt to build up very slowly and reset to clean once it reaches its maximum state. So now your cars should get slowly dirtier, as you can see, probably on the bonnet there, just about. But they won't suddenly go back to being completely clean, which was very bizarre. In immersion braking, but there you go. Oh, there's a DPI. Daytona prototype coming up behind us. Updated tyre dimensions and branding for GTE, GT3, GT4 classes to match physics revisions. Added day running lights for GTE, GT3, GT4 classes, adjusted brake glow range. Now, back up the top here. We'll find some other bits and pieces. Itchy nose. I won the class. Right, the custom championship. We'll have a talk about that in a minute, but it is beta, so don't be surprised if there's a couple of minor issues with it, which there are. Real weather, again, it's not finished. It's only been added for certain tracks at certain times, historically anyway. They will add the rest of it eventually, so everything will look great. Customising seasons, again, they're only in for certain tracks at the moment, and the rest will arrive later this month, hopefully. One caveat on that, or one thing to note, that's going to add 10 to 15 gig to the size of the game, so it's a lot of additional room to find if you're getting close to the limit on your drive. So be aware. You'll either need more drive space or a bigger drive or something. Setup reset is recommended. Again, that's documents, Automobilista 2, save game, number, tuning setups. You shouldn't need to reset your sort of controller settings or your graphical settings, but if things don't go quite according to plan, just delete the whole folder and start again. Time trial, they've decided they're probably going to be resetting it for everything, because basically some of the times that were set earlier, you can't get anywhere near them now, so due to differences in, like, if you've dropped certain tiles or things, so they will come out of that. Shadows, they've updated the shadows. Bit hard to tell on the replay, but I thought at a couple of points it looked like it might have been stuttering a bit. Now, why is it doing this again? Keep duplicating the darn things. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's annoying. But yeah, the shadows have been updated. So basically, what you might find is that if your performance has tanked a bit, it's not because things are unoptimized. It's because they've actually increased the resolutions and distances and everything else on the shadows. So you might find what was a solid frame rate is no longer a solid frame rate. In that case, just go down one setting on your shadows. So if you're on ultra, go to high. If you're on high, go to medium. If you're on medium, go to low. If you're on low, you're probably running the potato. And you can always turn them off. But that will be something you'll note. The Racing USA pack. This is part 1, the additional content in here, of 3 parts of this particular pack. You can buy just the first part if you want, as a standalone. Part 1 is a standalone. That's the 3 tracks and 4 cars. If you only are interested in the GTE, or you're only interested in those 3 tracks, buy just what you want. There's a full expansion pass pack coming out as well, or a full expansion pack pass. So you'll be able to buy what's in this plus the other 2 parts, which will be presumably some ovals and some Indy cars and some historic stuff. So not 100% sure what's in it, but I'm sure whatever it is, it'll be good. You can also get it by buying the season pass, the 2020-2022 season pass. If you've already got the season pass, this will just drop and you'll be able to use it all. And there's going to be a premium expansion packs, which basically, if you've already got the premium track pack, you can buy like an extension to it, and that, or expansion, and that will actually effectively take your track pack up to the season pass. So that's something that's not yet available. It'll be showing up in Steam on the 7th apparently, or should be. But that rounds up the sort of notes and what's in it. We'll have a look at a couple of things. I'm not actually going to, in this video, going to have too much of a look at additional content. I think I'll knock out a couple more videos for that. But what I was going to have a quick look at was, I actually went through one of these sort of weather sites that sort of has what the weather was like before, and I picked out a few dates at Silverstone. I tried it at Sned and it kept picking up the same weather all the time, and I'm guessing that's because it's not got the historic bit for that yet. So Silverstone seems to be working. If I go to the 21st of May 2021, which I have, and I've got it on real weather, and if we start that, it should come out sort of overcast or light rain. Oh, I've set it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, it was overcast in the morning and the rain slowly came in. I forgot. I had changed the darn date, their time, so I'd left it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was light rain in the afternoon, but in the morning it was overcast. Let's try changing the time to 6 o'clock in the morning, which is what it should have been. Yeah, it was one of those days that it just steadily got worse and worse. So it went from sort of there in the morning to in the afternoon. So if I remember to press the button, it should now, like I said, it was overcast and it slowly got worse and worse. So I can't remember the name of the site I was on. Was it Time and Date or something? It was called Time and Date / weather or something. And that's overcast, as you can see, with I've got the darn thing in. Just change the display to metric so that I can actually work out whether or not, yeah, fairly chilly, 13 degrees, relatively speaking, of course. Then the 24th, it was first thing in the morning, it was light rain, or it was raining quite lightly. So go to the 24th and have a quick snap, as they say. Light rain, wonderful. it would almost be nice if you didn't have to press the start button for it to go, it was raining. Because it would be a lot quicker if it just went, ooh, and the weather on that date and time was, whatever. I think the next one I basically chose a few days at more or less random and went, oh, that was like, and that was like, this was sort of it was one of those, it started sort of stupid o'clock at night, it was a clear sky, and then it went slightly cloudy, and then I think it cleared up again sort of midday on this particular one. So it was sort of light cloud in the morning. And then, last but not least, just to give you an idea, look, it is actually changing not randomly, but it's effectively sort of mirroring what I was looking at on the internet. Oh, wrong button, you prat. Go to the 31st. And that was foggy in the morning. That was the only morning that was foggy that month, funnily enough. Whole month and only one foggy morning. So that appears to be working nicely, like I said. Not implemented for all circuits yet, but you get the general idea. Now, the other interesting or nice addition is the introduction of the custom championship. Now, if you go into the championship, hit new, you should have the default custom championship to start with, and it's set up with one round for the F3s. If you go edit championship, it brings you into here, and this is where you give your championship a name. So it's the World Cup. Small keyboard, pain in the arse typing, and you have to hit enter twice, once to select the continue button and once to actually use the continue button. Vehicle classes, I keep wanting to click down here, and you click here and you just clear whatever's there, and you'll note when you're over things they've got this thing with a little red bit. Go super light, super sport, and that'll do. So we've got two classes, you can have up to, I think it's 4. You can decide on your scoring system, which you got none, the F3 Brazil series. So I'm assuming at some point they'll allow you to add your own scoring system. Most of these are fairly basic, so however many at the top scoring with different degrees of difference between the first and second ones. Formula Ultimate gives you 1 point for pole. The most interesting one is the JCW one, which is like 6 for pole, 6 for the fastest right. Everybody who finished 20th or lower gets 15 points, which means you do actually get something for finishing, assuming more than 20 people finish. And there's no sort of like, oh well, only the top 5 score. It really is quite annoying to be just at the bottom of that and being consistent but not getting as many points maybe as somebody gets a ridiculous amount for winning and you end up behind them in the championship even though you've been sort of top 10 every time. So it gives you the option of hopefully they will add the option to do your own, but this sort of scoring system I quite like. But for this we're just going to go top 10 standard because I'm boring. Now for this you obviously don't want to start at Curbiter probably, so you go select track, and what we're going to do is just a few British tracks. So we're going to start Brands Indy, we only want one race, so we'll turn that off to start with. When do we want it? No, we'll go with tomorrow's date, being as though that's a Sunday. Now, what do we want? 20 minutes? Yeah, 20 minutes will do. And we'll set it to real weather. Whether or not that actually does anything correctly, I don't know. Again, down here you've got your live track preset, and you can set it to one of these. I'm just going to leave it on default progressing. Qualifying we want on, and I think we'll go with 10 minutes. It's more than enough. Weather forecast, again real weather, default progressing. Practice, we don't want an hour. No. 15 minutes is enough for anybody. Again we'll go real weather, and I think we'll actually move the start time of this, because it's got the same start time as that, and I want it to be, even though it's supposedly on a different day, as I said, it's like day before for the qualifying. I want to be able to simulate it's all on one day, effectively. So I'm going to make that 10 o'clock. So, or even 12 o'clock I was going to make it. Brain, come on, catch up. Nothing like a bit of midday. So, it's sort of 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Everything's hunky-dory. We've only got... So we go back, and we've now got PQ and R, 6th of the 6th. So, we now want another round. So we add a new round, and you notice it's gone 1 week on. Same track. Everything else is the same. The only thing that's changed is the date. So it'll be set exactly the same. If you added another round, what you could do is go, well, I want a gap of a week. Rather than having to go in and change the date, you can just do that twice and have 2 weeks in between. You select your track. We're going to go to Cabell Park, that being the next one. Then we'll add another round. Select the track. What's the next one? Probably Donington, isn't it? National. Hate the GP circuit. Add 2 more, just save messing about. We'll do this. United Kingdom. What's the next one? Oh, it's England, isn't it? Oh. Foster's, and then what's next? I do wish it would remember that I'd used the United. Oh bugger! I do we should change that. Is that the right one? Yep, that one. And then right, you've now got 5. So we've got 5. We've got 7. Oh, I seem to have added this shitload more than I thought I had. Obviously got a bit ahead of myself there. I didn't think I clicked the button that many times. Whatever. Right, Snetterton 200. I do wonder, because I double clicked by accident, whether it accidentally double clicking in here when it went back caused it to click on the add around button. Might be. That's my excuse. I'm sticking with it. And the last one we'll have it brands here, because you don't have to double click. It's just a bad habit. Now, very nice. So everything's sort of like 1 week or 2 weeks apart, depending upon whether or not we left a gap. You could have changed it, and it should carry on a week later. Now, I want to have a double header round in the last round. So we scroll down, we find our last round, click on it, and we turn on that. And we check the settings, and we go, yeah, whatever, standing, weather's not real, whatever, and we're going to make it a 30-minute race. Okay, in theory that should all be fine, shouldn't it? So go back here, and hang on a minute, what's going on? We haven't got a second race here. We've got a second race on this one, and you're confused, and I'm confused, and I was confused when I was playing with this when it first dropped, and I was trying to work out what the hell was going on. I kept changing dates, and I kept seeming to change something else somewhere else. What it's doing is, if you look where we clicked, we were on the bottom thing. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's the 5th of 5. That's really the 5th of the elements. So what it's done is, because we clicked on the 5th one, and even if we click on it there, we actually end up doing the 5th thing in the list. Wherever you've scrolled to, you're always dealing with whichever element in the list you are clicking on. So if it was like the 3rd of the elements and you'd scrolled up one, you'd be doing still the 3rd one, even though you think you're doing the 4th one. So you've got to be very careful to make sure you're at the top of the list when you start editing dates or adding bits or doing this. So we're going to turn that back off and we'll go back, and you'll see that now our Silverstone round has got the right amount of things. So what we're going to do to allow us to get around it, you could probably set up your rounds for your first and last if you want a double header on each end, and then start entering bits in the middle. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up using the up arrow, which has moved it to there, and then we're going to click up again, and hopefully we got it right, and it's now here, which is the 5th element. Sounds like a good thing for a film, that title, doesn't it? And we can click on it and we can add it, and we can go to the session settings, and hopefully, you know, the date actually says the 5th of the 5th. Interestingly, we want to change it 30 minutes. Right, save that. When we come out to here, you'll notice the date's actually the 25th of the 7th. So it doesn't matter what you do here, apparently. It will take the same date as that. So your two races have to be on the same day. But now that we've got it, so we've got two, we can then move it back down to its correct location, because I assume it actually runs through them in the order they are there, rather than in date order. So you could do some weird shit, presumably, and we'll have a series, but completely out of date, randomly weird dates like this. At least it makes some sense, and you could actually run these on the day they're actually happening, so you get the right weather for whether or not it's actually historically there. And of course, if you set them all in the future, there is no historic data, so I don't know what it does at that point. I assume it's going whatever's happening today. Who knows? But anyway, if you keep in mind that selection bug, basically you have to be in one of the top 5 things to be able to edit the right one. And if you've scrolled at all, you will always be out by however many you scroll from where you think you are. So be careful. If you only stick with 5 rounds, of course, you're not going to have a problem. But you save that, and then we'll choose a vehicle. And what are we going to go? Get the right thing. That's slightly annoying that it doesn't actually change when you click on those to one of those. So we actually want the super light as the faster one. Yeah. Again, that's one of those little nuances, shall we say. So now you're all set with your car. Press the start. There it all is. For some reason we seem to have... Oh, yeah, I've got the right amount of people. And why it's got the race distance scale, I assume you set all that independently. So even if you set up, say, 20 minutes for your practice, you could still scale it. That's bizarre. Why would you set up a custom championship with a specific length and then scale it? Seems a bit... Okay, whatever. I'd have thought the custom, you'd have just gone, no, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, your current championship that you're in, or championships, because you can have more than one championship, but you can't have more than one custom. I don't know what would happen if you had that in progress and then went and edited it. I don't know what it'd do. So it's probably worth sticking with just the one until I've actually added the ability to have more than one. And then once you've finished your championship, obviously you can go in and delete and alter whatever you like after that. So, but looks good. Gives you the option. Just remember the bug, and you'll be fine. Hopefully they'll sort it sooner rather than later. I think that will do for now. That's 40 minutes of me waffling. That's more than enough here in one sitting. Damn good update, and the changes to the cars have made them a lot better in most cases. I don't think I've tried anything that I thought, that feels shit. So it's all going in very much the right direction, and the team continue to churn out stuff at a huge rate of knots. All good quality, all good stuff. So for me, for now, I'll probably chuck out a couple, at least one, if not two more videos over the next couple of days with me looking at various cars and changes and see how things are going. But for now, that's enough for me. So, oops, shot, catching the microphone again. Enjoy your racing, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Button.